Hello, I thought I'd just spend a bit of time talking about Scorpio today because I do get a lot of messages and emails about people who have either sun, moon, or ascendant in that sign, and it kind of gives you a little bit of anxiety about Scorpio generally. I just wanted to just reassure everyone that we all have Scorpio somewhere in our chart. It might not be our ascendant, or it might not be, like our fourth house of happiness and mind and everything, but we do have it in our chart. So I'm just going to just touch a little bit on it, and hopefully we can actually put some light onto this sign, a very deep sign. So basically, I'm not going to take this away from the fact that this is the natural eighth house of the zodiac. So even if it's your second house, first house, it wouldn't make any difference, still is a karmic sign. And it's a water sign, so it's emotional sign, but it's a fixed sign. So I guess this will be one of the issues with the sign because, like Cancer could be rivers, streams, and oceans will be like Pisces. But this is like a lake. It's like stagnant water. So, and it's also can be slightly murky water, so you can't really see the bottom of it because the water is stagnant. So you can actually, the life within it will be quite sort of like not fresh. So you want to just like make it into running water and just like use it for the in a good way. And I think what will happen is it makes it difficult is if you have ascendant or planets in there because they will absorb the energy of that house, of that sign and the house, obviously. And rest assured, even if your eighth house is, say, I don't know, Virgo or Taurus or something, you will still have some of this feeling within that sign because still the natural eighth house of the zodiac. Eighth house is all to do with transformation, sudden ups and downs. It's going to be about fear, control, losing control, and everything within it is very deep, runs deep. Because obviously oceans and rivers can spread out. This can't. This is just fixed within boundaries of the lake. So obviously one of the issues with this sign is control because people, particularly if it's an ascendant or a planet in there, you want to control. You want to hold on to things, and that can be quite difficult with other people because I know from my really dear friend who, she met this guy and they started dating, and he was, he had Moon and Mars in this sign, which is it's quite intense when you have Moon there because obviously Moon is a fickle planet and he just wants like light energy, and this is a deep sign. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's always debilitated. It's only debilitated. Moon is only debilitated at 3 degrees. But obviously, it's that down to the person really to let go. Learning to let go is an issue within Scorpio. Anyway, this friend of mine who was seeing this guy, and in no time at all, they just like dated once or twice. There was nothing, just like friendly meeting up and everything. But he was very intense. He was constantly messaging her, phoning her, wanted to see her at every opportunity. And, my friend at the time, she was commuting to work and back, commuting like 130 something miles, and she was exhausted. So she really wanted to recoup. Sometimes she didn't want to see anybody at the weekends, just wanted to catch up with her washing and cleaning, just resting, doing her paperwork, catching up with her family. And sometimes she wanted to see her friends. So she didn't, this guy, even though that they had just started seeing, she didn't really particularly feel as though she wanted to see him more than once a week. And within they kind of started seeing each other, and some weekends she was sort of like going sort of like maybe to musical events and things with him. And he was just literally, the moment they were not together, he was texting her all the time. He was intense, he phoning her and everything. And then 3 months into seeing each other, I think he just kind of like finished with her. Absolutely no explanation. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think she was grateful that it had happened in a sense, because she found it a little bit like she kind of knew quite early on. She should have perhaps let go quite early, but anyway, 3 months later, because they hadn't actually seen each other that much during that time, because some weekends she just really didn't have the energy to spend time with her, and a couple of them she was away as well, with weddings that abroad and things like that. So anyway, and he had already told her that every now and then he kind of like, when he doesn't like the conduct of a friend, he will stop speaking to them, and sometimes he would not speak to them for a whole year. And she kind of couldn't believe that somebody like in their 50s would do that, because that's a bit strange. And that happened to her. So she bumped into him, like, I don't know, a couple of months after they had finished, and they were walking right towards each other, and she said hello to him, and he completely blanked her. And this happened several times, actually, maybe 3 or 4 times over a course of like 8 months. They bumped into each other and he just blanked her. And then she was like, okay, fair enough, he doesn't want to be friends, doesn't want to know me, I can deal with that. And so the next time they saw each other, bumped into each other in the street, which would be like, say, like 9 months later, he was the one who was like, hello, how are you? And she really was like, actually, I don't want to speak to you, because that is odd behavior. And this is what can happen with Moon in Scorpio, because what it is, he sees the fact that she doesn't want to see him, but he doesn't see that she's tired. She's been working, and she's got friends, she's got like hobbies, she's got children, and she wants time with other people, and she also wants time for herself. So she does not feel as though she needs to spend every free moment with him. To him, he was taking that as a rejection. It wasn't a rejection, it was just purely because she needed to regenerate, and she found being with him quite intense. And having Mars there as well, it just means that they can hold on to grudges as well, because Mars can be a little bit like that. And Mars in Scorpio, even though Mars rules it, it's just a very kind of unforgiving Mars as well. So this is what I wanted to say that to you, that it's just like you want to, if you have that, particularly if it's your ascendant or you have Moon there, because obviously in Vedic astrology, they can read the sign from the ascendant, but they can also read the sign from read your chart from the Moon as well. So if you have this, it just means that there's a lot of intensity on the partner, and where the partner doesn't come from your way of thinking, to them that's quite alien, that somebody that you've just met wants to spend so much time with you. It's just odd, and it's because they want to get to know you. And obviously Scorpio, particularly Scorpio Moon or Mars or Moon Mars or any planet there, they want to really, really, they want to commit to that person, they want to get intimate with that person. There's quite a lot of intensity, they put all their energy into that person in their life, and that can, whereas they are quite devoted, Scorpions, for somebody else it will be just like, I just find that a little bit too intense. I just want to get to know you slowly, and I don't want to just jump into a relationship, and so you want to just bear that in mind when you are dealing with that. And having planets there really kind of bring that energy out. So particularly, as I said, Moon and Mars ascendant, and sometimes some planets in there can be a little bit harsh, like Saturn can be harsh. Jupiter also magnifies everything to do with that as well. And Moon can give you fears and anxiety, and obviously it just means that your mind is constantly on things to do with Scorpio. And when Scorpion, because obviously the other thing I want to also, I will touch on, I'll do different videos for this as well. Every degree is different as well in Scorpio, so you will find that not all of them will be the same, but the middle of the sign will mean that in a chart called D9 or Navamsha, which is it shows the true sort of like strength of your planets. If that means that whatever planet is there, or certain degrees of this sign will be in the D9 chart. They will also go into Scorpio. So those planets, people need to work on them really, because it just means that the energy is very, very Scorpio. So I would just say to you, you want to do moon mantras. You want to like really help your Scorpio sign, because always living in the past, wanting to hold on, like controlling and not letting go, it's really holds you back. It doesn't hold the other people down, but it's you will suffer for that. Why would you want to do that? You want to be kind to yourself, dust yourself off, and actually just think, I learned from that and I made a mistake. I was too controlling, I was too fearful of losing them, and that didn't help the relationship. Maybe now, and you don't want to have a repetitive way of dealing with relationship with other people. You want to learn from that and actually just literally just think, what did I do wrong? And and this not being able to rest until you get the person or control the person or have some level of like keeping hold of things, it will not do anybody any good. So I would just say use all that energy for things that are important. So do your research. If you got, like, for example, Jupiter there, Jupiter is about learning. Do all things to do with learning. Do like ancient scriptures. Learn new skills. Spirituality, astrology. Why not astrology? I think it's pretty good. Saturn also can make you sort of like Saturn in Scorpio can be a little bit troublesome because Saturn and Mars do not get on. So you want to use that energy kind of to have the duty, but not overly work yourself hard or anything like that. Be dutiful, to yourself first and to the other people. Having good foundation to build on, that will be really good. It gives Saturn strength, really. Venus, you don't want to just like be nice to the females in your life, whether they are your sisters, your mum, colleagues, neighbours. Just be respectful of them and look after them. Not obviously not in an intense manner, but actually watch out for them. And if you have, I don't know, say for example the sun. Sun will probably deal better than most planets actually in this sign, because it can, it could be, that's to do with your soul, anything to do with the soul you have to do, but you learn from it and you just kind of like, deal with it. And if a relationship goes wrong, but that's fine. Your ego might have had a little bit of a knock, but one person, one relationship does not define you. What else? Mercury also does not do so well in because it's not friendly with Mars, does not do so well here. So it can give you slightly stern, harsh communication skills. So you don't want to be like vindictive with anything that you say, because you got to remember that in life, whatever you dish out, you take. So at some point in your life, be kind to yourself and others as well. But there are a lot of beauties within this sign that people need to know, because for one thing, Scorpions are very loyal. So if you're in a relationship with the Scorpions, so they want to kind of like they need that intimacy, because they see that as though the awakening of their Kundalini. They see that as a connection on a very, very deep level. So if the Scorpio takes their time and makes sure that their behavior is okay with the person they're in the relationship with, they can have a fantastic relationship, because okay, it'll be fantastically sexual, fantastically sensual. And obviously when you have that loyalty and you bring you an element of fun into it, it'll be amazing. So you can actually have a spiritual journey with your partner. So I just want you to really embrace this sign and not really tap into the higher octave of this, and not really think about all the, don't ponder and don't sort of like cripple yourself and or other people in your relationship with intensity. Put that intensity in something much more worthwhile, you know. So research, I think research does really is a really good remedy for Scorpios. Scorpions are cool, like they're, you know, so use that energy. Thank you for listening.